Stand by alert. Death Star approaching. Estimated time to fire range.
Feeling about this.
Episode 266 of the Skyhoppers podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben, and I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, Cole and Dakota.
Hello.
We're all back, finally. It's what's been just real life and illness and God knows what else that has kind of led to us falling into what I am calling Skyhoppers Spring Break. Just 2 weeks without anything. I didn't even do flashback episodes. It was like Friday at like noon both times. I was like, oh crap. I didn't even queue up an old episode to go out or anything, but you know, hopefully.
Oh, well.
Exactly. Hopefully people are still here. I imagine there have been people who have been here since the beginning of time and will be here long after we die. The podcast will continue on. And not only are we back with a podcast, we are back with something that I think with good reason we've stepped away from for a while. But even though we're getting ready to move into another TV show sooner rather than later, I think a trip back to Clone Wars land was appropriate. Plus, it's just it's just, you know, it's great. It's always
pumping and dumping.
Pumping and dumping. Just, I have no words. Maybe this is why, maybe subconsciously, like, I got the cough, so my body gave me the cough so that I wouldn't come back to the podcast. Maybe if we keep him away long enough, he won't feel like doing it anymore. No, but I obviously have a lot of thoughts about these episodes, and actually kind of in a more meta sense about season 4. I feel like a switch flipped somewhere, and I want to talk about that.
Yes,
but
definitely.
of course, we're not quite there yet. Today is, maybe we should start timestamping these episodes. This is April 27th, 2022. Timestamping it just to, I don't know, to talk about the proximity to Celebration. We're leading up to Celebration.
Under a month out now.
Oh, I'm not ready. I am ready logistically, but I don't know that I'm ready emotionally, especially because we had a leak of the Celebration panel schedule and then an official announcement of I'm not quite sure what happened, Cole. Like, I think I
can only assume it was a mistake that they just were like, well, it's done.
I don't know, though. I don't know. Because as someone who works with, granted, the Star Wars website, I think, gets more traffic than any of the websites that I look at, or that I work on. But as someone who works in that field, if we accidentally publish something live, our response is just you take it down, you don't put it back up. And I'm curious.
The cycle of events was a bit weird, though, because it wasn't posted on StarWars.com originally. It was posted on the Celebration page, like the Celebration website with all that stuff. That was where the list originally went up, and then it disappeared, like fairly shortly after it went up. And then, like maybe an hour later, the StarWars.com article went out.
Okay, then actually, that was important information I didn't have, because I feel like you've got a point there. Then, if the Celebration website, whoever was running that, just didn't wait.
Like, I feel like this page is probably already there, and it got published a week early, probably, because
for sure,
a week from today is May 4th.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we did get some things that we didn't officially know about.
We've known about,
that
but we
came
haven't
up in
known
that.
about.
We still, I guess, it still kind of falls into that category. What we're alluding to is an upcoming animated series. I sigh because I'm nervous. An upcoming animated series called Tales of the Jedi. And this is something that we talked about before Christmas, around Christmas, because
Around
it was
Christmas.
on the well, it was on it. It was a logo that originally appeared on the Lucasfilm employee holiday gift, like the side of that box. So it's been out there, and to be honest, I kind of forgot about it. I hadn't thought that much about it, just because it's hard to say. As someone who's a huge fan of the Tales of the Jedi comics, I was hoping for some sort of adaptation, something like that, but I don't know. Did either of you read the description of that panel? Because
Yeah, I've got it right here
okay.
if you want me to read it.
Yeah, go ahead and read it. Just so Dakota knows it.
Okay, so live on the Celebration stage, streamed to the Galaxy and Twin Suns stages, Tales of the Jedi, animated anthology shorts, hosted by Amy Radcliffe with special guest Dave Filoni.
Honestly, this is not negative. This is simply an observation. I would assume that Dave Filoni is there because he's involved. Now that's fine. That's good. I am less inclined to believe that it is the Tales of the Jedi, and also the word anthology. Like Cole, that you pointed that out earlier. Like that is a huge indicator that it is Tales of the Jedi, literally in name only. But that's okay, because like you said, they could conceivably pull stuff from the original Tales of the Jedi and just expand it outwards. I don't know if I might be alone in this. I don't want to sound negative or critical. I'm legitimately curious. I'm wondering what niche the show is going to fill. Is it going to just be a show about Jedi doing stuff? Like, it's an anthology, so I mean, I would assume it would end up being something like Visions, where it's like we're not getting a ton of time with any of these characters. That's not necessarily a guarantee, but do either of you have theories, thoughts, or am I alone in just wondering? Because we don't know anything, obviously. But Dakota, you're just shaking your head.
Brain, yeah, no, sorry, yeah, no, my brain's empty. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Like, it's my hope is that it's probably going to be like I said, anthology shorts, like standalone things, and hopefully give us stuff from like every era. Like give us stuff from like, you know, post Return of the Jedi stuff, give us High Republic stuff, give us Old Republic stuff. Like literally anything, honestly.
That's my only guess about it, is that's what the word anthology
should mean.
Did for me. It made me think of that, like Forces of Destiny style is like not in animation style or target audience necessarily, but
animation style.
in like in that kind of storytelling style is kind of what that just the word anthology made me think of.
Right. It's just,
and heck, maybe we'll get an Ulick Keldroma episode, you know?
And that's kind of, I find it hard to believe they would call it Tales of the Jedi. That's what gives me hope, that they would call it Tales of the Jedi, and they would use like the same or an incredibly similar logo to the Tales of the Jedi logo from the Dark Horse comics, and then just completely ignore those comics. Like that doesn't seem right to me. Also, they seemed very keen recently about playing around in the past. You know, we're getting the KOTOR remake. High Republic is already in the past. And then we're going further in the past. it seems
It's getting even past.
it's getting. Even
Haven't there been
past
like a bunch of references in like source books and stuff, or like the visual guides, like referencing old stuff? So all the stuff theoretically exists already in the canon, and just needs to be literally shown.
I think Dryden Voss's desk says something about Exar Kun, if I remember correctly.
Something like that, yeah.
Which is wild. I love that. But okay, that gives me some hope. That I think we could see something very similar. Plus, the Ula Keldroma, I've talked about that. It's come up on the podcast before, and a lot of people listening, I'm sure, already know the story. One thing that I like about it is it looks a lot like the Anakin Skywalker, Kylo Ren kind of, we fell to the dark side, we get redeemed, and then we die. But it looks like that at first glance, but then Tales of the Jedi takes it farther. It's like, okay, it is what so many people wanted from Kylo, which is that to see him kind of punished and atone for what he did and have to live with it rather than getting the air quotes easy way out of dying. So if that's something that appeals to you, you should definitely check out those comics. I think they're very good. The art is divisive, like a lot of Star Wars comics of the era, but I think it's good, and the story is definitely worth your time. Especially if you're a fan of Knights of the Old Republic, because they played a little fast and loose with adapting stuff or pulling stuff in from those comics, but it is there. To me, other than the celebration schedule, that was the only real news that I know
sure.
of.
Let me just scroll through real quick, making sure I don't think anything else has come up.
No, we got some. We talked about this on our Bro Skywalkers. We got some new Kenobi stills that I thought were really weird. It was really weird that he wasn't wearing like a Jedi clothing. He was wearing like a blue poncho or whatever, and it's like, that's not normal. Live action Obi-Wan Kenobi only wears Jedi clothes. Come on.
It's only in animation he ever dares to wear anything different.
Yeah, and in animation he even wears a different face for a time. So he really doesn't hold
That's
back.
What we're doing next time we talk about Clone
It's true.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the next arc.
Okay, I do like those episodes, despite the fact that the premise to me is incredibly flawed.
Agreed.
I've said before, and I'll say it again. I don't think Star Wars needs a Polyjuice potion, but you can build something good out of a flawed premise. But yeah, the celebration schedule. Cole, did you get a chance to look through it?
Not in like great detail. I scrolled through the whole thing. Like I saw someone post about this Tales of the Jedi thing, and I was like, huh. So I pulled up the page and started scrolling, and it was a long list of panels. I don't know if it was literally everything, but it's a lot. And there was a Bad Batch Season 2 panel.
Yep.
It's nice to have confirmation of.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a thing like to look back at Visions, which is like, oh, hope maybe they'll announce a second season there.
I thought they did. Or was that just a rumor that there's a second season in development?
I don't think it's ever been like confirmed.
Okay.
They were interested in exploring more stuff in that vein.
That's good. I'd like to see more Visions. I just
it reminds me, I think even last week, it was like somewhere it got posted that there's going to be a graphic novel, or not graphic novel, a manga adaptation of some of the Vision stuff.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yep.
Which is cool.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking and confusing myself with. I just hope that if we do go back to Visions, we see more of the Village Bride and less of Tatooine Rhapsody. There, I said it. But
I want less Jedi next time.
Sure. And Tatooine Rhapsody is definitely not the worst thing that ever happened to Star Wars. It's just,
I love it.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But that's not shocked. We just talked about the fact that I like the new Batman movie. Dakota says because it is long and plodding, and it at times things feels like there's not that much happening. But yeah, news has been quiet, and that's been kind of my thought each time we didn't podcast. Because normally we record on Wednesdays. Thursdays is the big news. Well, nothing happened. They're holding everything back.
Yeah, next week might change
Keeping
that
everything
because we're
from us.
getting that May the 4th. Something always happens on May the 4th.
Right. I can't believe last year was Bad Batch. That feels like forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will agree with you about that, about the Bad Batch panel confirmation. There was a bunch of ones. Like, there's obviously the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. That's going to be a panel that's going to be high on my list, and hopefully, because they confirmed they're doing like the ticket, the badge, the lottery system.
Oh, good, good.
So hopefully I can get into that one, but honestly, if you don't, there's always something else to do. But
they're doing a screening of the Siege of Mandalore.
Oh, I thought that was cool too.
Or if it'll be like all cut together as a movie, or if it'll actually be the individual episodes. Not that it matters really, but
right.
It feels like it's designed to do that, and I'm surprised they never did it.
I wouldn't be shocked if they cut it all together into one. And hey, maybe that's a step towards them. A step towards them doing animated features. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath for that anymore. But yeah, I don't know. A ton of news is going to come out of Celebration. I am not prepared as a I'll say air quotes content creator. I feel like it's going to be overwhelming. It always is.
Yeah. We're going to have so much to talk about.
We are. And don't worry, Dakota, we will make sure to save some conversation for you.
You better.
So yeah, biggest bummer in the world is that, like, Celebration was sad whenever it was just me and Cole going, but it was just two of us then, right? But now it is Eva's going. We've got 75% of the podcast, and we're almost there. But
one day we'll all be
one
there.
day. I'm making a habit of it. I'm realizing this is actually my third celebration. Since I've been able to go, I've been going, which just seems, it's been so long since the last one. It feels like I missed one, but I guess everyone kind of missed one. But I don't know. Did anything else happen? I feel like we're just waiting for Kenobi. We're waiting for Celebration. I do wish Tales of the Jedi. I wish they had announced something, like acknowledged it in some way, because it's just out there now. But Cole, I imagine you're probably right. They're not going to throw off their whole media. That's not how these things work. They're not going to throw off their whole media thing just because this one thing broke. So,
yeah. And I have to imagine there's also like gaps in the schedule for panels they're, holding off announcing.
Okay, right.
I haven't looked through and blocked it all out, but I'm sure there's gaps because I don't think there's anything for the games, like Lucas Games at all.
No, I didn't. You're right. I didn't see anything.
I feel like there has to be something.
Yeah, there's. Oh, that's more news. Amy Hennig, who was on.
Oh yeah.
Project. What were they calling it? Project Ragtag. The Visceral Games, the Visceral Games game that got canceled. 4 or 5 years ago at this point. 4 or 5 years ago.
A few years. I'm not sure exactly how long.
Yeah, but it got canceled a while ago. She's back, and it's being reported that this is a resurrection of Project Ragtag. That Lucasfilm Games must have looked at what EA had done and been like, "Yo, why'd you guys kill this?
This was dope. What were you doing?
This was so cool. Why'd you do this?" So that'd be sick. I don't know why it would be anything different if she had, obviously she's not the only one working on this game, but if she had done all this work and had this team that was doing the work on this game, why would they be like, no, you got to make something completely different? Just doesn't make a ton of sense. So that's cool. I would love to see that game see the light of day, and I'm assuming now that it's Lucasfilm Games at the helm and not, well, hopefully Lucasfilm Games develops a better track record than Lucasfilm, the movie studio. But yeah, I don't know. That's some other news. But Cole, I think you're right. There's got to be something about games. They've announced too many things that are just. That's kind of the hope for Celebration in general, though, right? We've talked about this. How it's like, please just pull back the curtain on all the crap that you have put out into the void and just ignored since. So yeah, that's the. If it doesn't get talked about at this celebration, it's probably dead. I feel like that's a good rule to live by. But we'll see. That's hard to say, obviously. Anything else then before we just dive right into season 4 of Clone Wars?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are all very low energy this evening.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. The world is hard. But anyway, I felt alive watching Clone Wars, at least.
Yeah, me too. But then my notes broke a little bit.
That's okay. I have notes. Cole watched them.
Well, I can still read them. It just fell out of my notebook.
It looks like it was torn out. I will say.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened though.
All right, we're gonna move on. I don't know what's happening here. Dakota, do you have a blurb?
Yes.
For season 4, episode 11, Kidnapped? Dun dun
Kidnapped. Anakin and Ahsoka rush to defuse bombs left by Zyjerrian slavers to cover their tracks, and Obi-Wan heads out to confront their imposing leader.
Sorry, I think you said that word wrong. It's pronounced Zyjerrians.
Okay, I was going to bring that up too. I noticed, I'm like, wait, they pronounce it Zyjerrians. Everyone else pronounces it Zyjerrians. Are we all just wrong?
I did not notice that.
I feel like Cole.
We're wrong.
Cole, maybe I wasn't.
That's how they say
maybe
it.
I wasn't paying close enough attention. Was it a definite hard split? Zyjerrian said Zyjerrian.
I noticed at least 2 different Zyjerrians say it like that.
Yes.
The Queen and the the head guy, like the Prime Minister guy, I think. I'm pretty sure both of them said Zyjerrians. I was like, what? And for whatever reason, it stuck out to me. I was like, huh.
My first thought was George Lucas. My first thought was George Lucas. Why do you keep doing this? Why can you not keep your pronunciation? Why do you not hear? If it were me, if it were my world and my story, and someone was saying something wrong, you bet your ass I would be telling them they were saying it wrong.
Yeah.
So, Cole, that's a great point. Maybe we are just being ignorant. We're just not listening to how they prefer to be referred to.
That's what the real grievance is with the Jedi. They pronounce our species name wrong.
Fair. That's fair.
Okay, that is. It's later in my notes, but I guess it is prevalent throughout these episodes, so it's fine to bring up here at the beginning. Thank you for the blurb, Dakota. Very minimally informative, as always.
It's a bad episode title.
As always. It is.
Yeah.
And not just because it's boring and just one word thing. It also literally spoils the end of the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally the reveal.
I didn't even think about. Yeah, I didn't even think about it until the end when they were like, oh, they were kidnapped. That I wasn't. That they didn't know
really
that. I didn't remember that they didn't know.
An entire planet's population.
I thought the same thing too. I'm just
also.
This is just abduction. Is that a better word? I just felt. Yeah, I feel like kidnapping is too. Playful is the wrong word. But you know what I mean? It's too light. It's too light. This is
yeah, for sure.
This is one step short of genocide.
I feel like kidnapping is more personal, an individual.
Exactly.
It's kidnapped. A population gets abducted. I guess.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Oh wow, yeah, it's really demeaning.
One thing I will say though, this episode was very good to look at. Kyros is a very
Yeah.
beautiful planet, and the Togruta, I feel like it's really easy to compare them to Twi'leks, but the diversity in how the Togruta's
Yeah.
Montrals look versus like the Twi'leks just
It's a little bit
headtails.
wild,
It's
honestly.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's all over the place, and it's just, it's
They're
it stood out to
gorgeous.
me. It stood out to me, and that's how I know it's like, well, you all did it on purpose, and it landed. I caught that. But this, don't have a ton of notes for this one, just because I did feel like a lot of this episode was action. But
They diffused some bombs.
they yes,
by chopping them in half,
Yes.
which is concerning.
It's like, man,
Uh,
those are terrible bombs. You can just literally chop
just cut them
the
in half. Yeah,
control panel and it diffuses. But I guess that's how doors work in Star Wars too.
yeah. It's
True.
just
You
one
cut
of
the
those
control panel, it
things,
either opens the door or locks the door permanently, whichever one the hero needs.
whichever one the hero needs at the given moment.
Yep. When they were riding into the town on their motorcycles, their hover cycles,
Speeder bikes.
whatever
Speeder
they're called.
bikes.
Speeder bikes.
Speeder bike, that's the word I'm looking for. On their speeder bikes. Ahsoka and Rex both have to ride in a sidecar, and the others all get to drive. And I found that incredibly amusing.
I did not notice. I was too busy being bummed out that at one point, right, I'm assuming right after, Ahsoka goes, biker droids, and I was hoping to
I know what
see...
you were hoping.
Yes, I was hoping to
Yeah.
see droids resembling IG units. With
The Lancer
big
droids.
Yes, and instead we got commando droids on
bikes.
Speeder bikes.
They're like Count Dooku's
Wait.
bike from Attack of the Clones.
Yes. The commando droids raise a lot of questions for me in these episodes, and this is one of them. It's just like, could the biker droids have been something else? Like the commando droids do like kind of a catch-all for when they want something that's like not just a regular battle droid.
They wanted to be slightly
Those-
scarier than a regular battle droid, and more competent.
Yes,
I guess.
but it's like, no, I guess they frequently are, aren't they? Because Jedi, we've seen Jedi have more struggles with them, and definitely clones have more like hand-to-hand struggle. They move creepy.
Yeah.
They move creepy. But then my next note is Anakin is like not spoken a ton this episode, maybe. And then we find out the Zyjerrian slavers are here, and he is just instantly 110% aggro. Which can't blame him.
Yeah.
But
It's also like he's like had business with Hutts and stuff before in the show, right?
Yeah,
And he doesn't
didn't
react
break
the
out
same
that much,
way.
for sure.
And they're literally the ones that were enslaved.
that's
Yeah.
an interesting point. I think it is. Maybe it's like in his mind, it's the Hutts do everything. I don't know for a fact that this Hutt deals in slaves that I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
From what I can tell, every Zyjerrian is a slaver. You know what?
Every single
Every
They
single
all hate
one.
Jedi, specifically.
one. Yeah.
Yes, there is one woman, and the rest of them are slavers.
Yes. One queen and all slavers.
And are they like cats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Is that what we're going
Yeah,
for?
and they have little birds that they can pet.
Okay.
The one definitely lies like Bond villain. Like when he's like stroking
Yeah.
the bird.
Yeah, because I was like, are they Slavic
And now,
cats?
Mr.
Because
Kenobi, you will die.
every alien gets an accent in Star Wars, and these guys are all Russian. I think. I don't know. I'm not for sure on that, but
I have no idea what they were supposed to sound like.
one thing too that I thought was I'd noticed. Dakota, since this is an Ahsoka thing, maybe you picked up on it too. I feel like that whenever Obi-Wan mentions to Ahsoka that Anakin used to be a slave, I feel like she's just kind of like, huh, okay. Like, was I alone in that? I felt like she was just like blithely is the wrong word, and I didn't expect her to like break down, but it does seem like he just kind of said it, and she's like, huh,
Hmm.
okay, and it's just like if someone that close to me was a slave,
You'd have some emotion about it.
I
when
would
you
have
found
some
out,
emotion about it.
And
And
it's also like I feel like the entire Jedi Temple would know about that because of how like an unusual case Anakin was.
right,
Like you think
right,
Yeah.
even if they
And
never
how old
met
he
him,
was.
they would know his story more or less.
right.
You know, the gist of it.
So
Yeah, for
that
sure.
was just like it was just a little weird. Not necessarily bad, just and not even Ahsoka's fault. You know, it's the writer's fault.
Mhm.
But I just felt like really nothing. You're just gonna keep moving. I guess props to her for maybe I'm looking too much at Anakin's example, and she's like, I've got to focus on the mission right now. Maybe it's a good thing. So maybe I can give her that credit instead of like with
Yeah. She's just really good at
where
Yeah.
Anakin's like,
at what she's
I've got to
doing.
kill every single one of these Zyjerrians. Like,
Yeah.
screw getting the people back. I have to kill the Zyjerrians.
Yeah, Ahsoka was all, I'm gonna control my emotions and be balanced and do the job. And that's what she did.
That is what she did. The job was really dirty too. Just there was something, and this is kind of what I was talking about with a switch that's flipped in season 4. The Zygerrians are so
Yeah.
dirty. Like they blow up that building. Like they're. Let me maybe get a full thought out here.
Sure.
Do either of you, like Cole? I see you nodding your head. Do you agree that it's like kind of out of nowhere? This show is all of a sudden very. I I don't want to use the term dark because I feel like that it gets a lot of people say Clone Wars is dark, and I don't think that's true. But it has its dark moments, and I feel like yeah, the Zygerrian blew up. It's like, oh yeah, that house was empty, but the next one won't be, and it's like, oh,
Uh-huh.
Jesus. I don't know. It's just really.
We know in retrospect that he's lying because there's literally no one
Yeah.
on the planet.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Yeah.
But still, just the fact that
Even just the fact that they're enslaving a whole giant group of people, like that's
sure.
I
they don't really
know
hold
what to
back
say
in
besides darker
later episodes.
than
In later episode,
a
they just
lot.
like execute a whole bunch of them
I know.
on the spot. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
just to make a point.
And when I don't know which episode it was in, or maybe it was in this one, but I think Obi-Wan and Ahsoka bust in somewhere, and there's guards, and they just like chop them in half on their way by.
And
I was like, those aren't droids. We usually have droids for this, and
that's exactly.
It's more gruesome.
That's what I was getting at. Was just that it's like, obviously, there's the Umbara arc that was last time we talked about Clone Wars.
Yeah, it was last time.
Yeah, and it's like that was a literal war movie. There was some real nasty stuff in that, and this is just kind of a continuation of it. Like the Zygerrians are morally repugnant as slavers, and you get into these weird, the weird situations with, I guess, in the next episode, where next episode, maybe the episode after, Anakin is like kind of the pawn of the queen. And it's like, she sucks, but even Anakin can't just. Even Anakin is controlling himself because it's just like the dynamic is so twisted. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready to get into that one yet. Something else that stood out to me from episode 11, though, and this might be my last big note, is that one of the Zygerrians notes that the royal slave auction dates from a time before the Jedi. I don't know if they mean like before the Jedi shut it down, or but the implication to me was that it was before the Jedi existed as an entity. Which makes me wonder, like, or makes
Maybe
me
just
think.
before the Jedi like came into this area, like the Jedi were more like a local, like wherever they were originally, like out of Coruscant or out of wherever, and then like as the Republic expanded, moved into the territory
Okay.
that's where the Zyjerrians were, and
Okay,
Jedi
that's
were
a
like,
good
oh,
point.
Yeah, that makes
can't
sense.
can't do that.
That makes more sense.
Bad,
because
bad.
Before the Jedi, I mean, I guess I don't know, according to George Lucas, when the Jedi Order was founded.
Mhm.
But
Hmm.
I was gonna say that definitely threw me off guard. But you're probably right. It's probably not before the actual Jedi Order.
Yeah.
I hate it when the Jedi lose in hand-to-hand combat. It feels very unbelievable to me.
Right? Why was Obi-Wan losing to that
Well,
cat?
I think he was letting him throw him around up
Okay.
until
Do you?
like, he
do
was
you-
literally just throwing the
But
fight
then-
to buy time for Anakin.
So
That's what I thought at first, and then it just kept going.
my question then becomes:
To me, Obi-Wan
'cause
wasn't even really fighting. Like the one time he likes to like fights back is whenever he smashes the comm. The droid's trying to warn him. He like
Right.
smashes his head to that to block the comm, and then after that he keeps letting him beat him up, and he's like, "Come on, Anakin, get on with this. I don't want to keep getting
You're
beat
right.
up."
You're right. And he does say that. I do imagine he's buying time. What I didn't understand is, or the hole that I found in that theory is why he needs to buy time. Can't he just take over this room and either try to stop things from up there, or just Anakin then just has as much time as he needs?
I think he just doesn't trust the whole situation. Is like because the agreement they make is, hey, if I win, you have to let everyone free. If you win, you can take me to Count Dooku, whatever. I don't think he trusts the bargain, and he thinks that if he does win, the guy will just double cross him and blow up the stuff anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I'll let him beat me up for as long as he'll do it, and that means that in that time, Anakin can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
Because we're letting this guy have his like personal vendetta, cloud his judgment, and that's like the whole point of it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Last thing I'm gonna say: the Droideka snipers. Not a fan, not because they're inherently bad, but because Battlefront gave us perfectly good CIS sniper rifles. Even by this point in time, there can be battle droid snipers. I don't know why they have to be weird.
Well, you were
Modified
just talking
Droidekas.
about how, why are we using the commando droids when you could use something new? and now you're like, no, I want battle droids with sniper rifles instead of these
Well,
new
see,
things.
Cole, that's part of my charm, is the inconsistency.
The
That's
hypocriticalness.
that is the hypocrisy. And I think talk to Luke, I think, in the Discord about this. It's one of the things that makes me uniquely insufferable.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just, well, no, okay, cool. Plus, I didn't want something new. I wasn't looking for something new. I was looking for something we had already.
Okay,
If
fair
you're
enough.
Okay. So I'm not.
I
I see
concede-
your point.
concede on that.
I see your point, but I'm not doing it this time. I'm not
I'm not
actually
wrong,
doing it
but this is the wrong instance to call you out on.
Exactly. Thank you.
See, I was going to say I like the Jordica sniper things. I think they're actually kind of a cool design.
I don't dislike them. I thought that was an interesting. I liked that they had to work together to take them down. Like it was a good little sequence. But it's just like you know how I love a long rifle.
It's true. Ben does
You
love a
know,
long rifle. So if they had like a
love a long
longer
rifle.
sniper rifle built into
Oh
them,
yeah,
you'd be into
Yeah.
it.
I'd be much more into it. But anyway, yeah. Then at the end, they're all kidnapped. Dun dun dun.
We solved
Surprise,
it.
not surprise.
Yeah. I felt really special because there at some point was this tentacled creature attacking Obi-Wan.
Yes.
And I was like, is that a Rathtar? Do I know this animal? No.
No.
It's not. It is very close,
It
though.
is. I thought the same. My initial thought as well was Rathtar.
It's a Blixus, which are also in High Republic Adventures, I discovered, which I thought was interesting.
I'm not shocked. Daniel Jose Older, I feel like, loves to do that kind of thing. Just like
Yeah.
dig up the weirdest.
Pull something from a Clone Wars episode.
Yeah, just dig up the weirdest
sure.
stuff. Blixus, thank you for checking in. You're going to be
I
our
was gonna
creature
say,
check-in
yeah.
person.
Whenever Anakin and Ahsoka get on the ship, they pull a Yoshi, Mario Yoshi. They jump with the walkers, and then they jump
Yeah.
off of them. Like, oh no, you poor walkers, they just died.
Yeah.
I never thought
I
about that.
noticed that too. That was really
They're
sad.
they're Anakin and Ahsoka are just speedrunning Super Mario World, doing a Kaizo run.
Yep.
Yoshi is not a friend; he is a tool. It means to an end.
So sad. I hate
It's the worst when you
it.
throw him in the lava. I think that's the worst. It's one thing whenever conceivably he just falls off
God.
screen, and conceivably he could still be alive. No, it's when he falls into lava. It's really bad. And he's doing it's just like the mouth thing as he sinks
No,
into the lava.
stop! This is too sad.
At least the walkers aren't like sentient.
Yeah, they are. Yoshi is. He can drive. So,
Aw.
anyway,
Aw.
episode 12, Slaves of the Republic.
Yeah, the next episode.
Much like Yoshi is a slave to
moving
Mario.
right along. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, this episode, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Rex, and Ahsoka go undercover at the slave market to find the colonists, and Anakin is forced to make a difficult choice.
This whole episode is
I don't remember what his difficult choice is.
Reveal
the
himself
last thing.
not.
The last thing I wrote is, if they are to live as slaves, it will be you who keeps them that way. Because if he, to spoil the entire conceit of the episode right here at the beginning, if he swears loyalty to the queen, she will free his friends.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, it's one of those things that I do feel like there are a million ways out of that. But
And they
they're
find
all
one.
slight.
And they find one of them in the
True.
next episode.
You're right. I will say again, with the kind of darker edge, that these episodes have and this season has had, showing the scantily clad Twi'lek woman being shown off as merchandise and explicitly as merchandise is like not too much for the show, but it's just very much like that is an adult theme. You know,
Yeah,
it's
lot.
very clear that like what this Twi'lek is being sold off for, and it's dark. It's dark. It's the only word for it. It's like it's upsetting, and it is. It's a lot, especially considering I don't have my season 3 notes right here, but it's like considering what the show was up to this season, it just feels like we didn't. That stuff was present, but it wasn't quite as. I feel like it wasn't quite as upfront as it has been throughout this season. But
I feel like there was a lot of murder in this episode.
Yeah, there was. But we did see. I talked about this during Bad Batch, or maybe just in Discord. In the episode with the Zyjerrians or Zyjerrians, I don't know. They've got those. That the guys that they fly around on, first of all, did not remember that they showed up here, that they're kind of their mounts, did not realize they showed up here, and got a much better look at them. They are just 100% like modeled after the Zillo Beast in the head, like for sure. They are flying small Zillo Beasts. I'm gonna sneeze. Someone say something. No, I meant continue the conversation while I sneeze, and now I'm not going to do it. Thanks.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Well, I wanted to say how bad Ahsoka is at being undercover.
I was about to
Oh
say,
my
she
God.
is really bad at. I'm like, I don't know if she's trying to just like
doesn't
act
know.
like a bad slave, but
I
feel like
don't
it's-
think she is. I think she's just being really bad at it.
it's like, man, did you not get the memo on like how to do anything? I'm like,
No.
it'd be better for her just to not say anything at all.
Just
Yeah,
to not speak.
absolutely.
But
But she just like couldn't.
Unhand me,
Well-
you brigand.
Yeah,
God.
gross. But it's also when did Anakin get charming?
Yeah, that was.
That was everyone was just like, Anakin will charm her, and we were like,
What?
When is Anakin? Like, did
when?
you see him with Padme?
Yeah, he's terrible. Where did that come from?
That is a
I think
great point. I
Obi-Wan
did
would
not
have
even
been
think.
better suited. I mean, he has his banter with Asajj
Yeah.
all the time.
I
But they
did
definitely,
not
I mean,
even think about
He
that.
could have done that.
I understand it from a story perspective. You want to put Anakin in the center of it because he's the one with the
Yeah.
emotional baggage to it. But I
Yeah.
feel like there's like a way to logically put him there without having Obi-Wan just be there and be like, "I'll do the other part."
Uh-huh.
I will say though, if there was an Anakin Skywalker that was going to charm anybody, it would be the Matt Lanter version.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. And like he succeeds. He just like whispers in her ear, and she starts like biting her lip at one
Again,
point.
does
Like,
she?
what is he saying?
Yeah, I don't remember, but that happened. I was too taken aback.
So,
at what was
stop it!
happening
Stop
to
it! It's
remember
like,
what he was whispering.
what are you saying? I don't want to know.
I-
I don't want to
I will
know.
say-
I don't want to know.
Anakin's pseudonymous last name is Quell. Like Eureka Quell from Alphabet Squadron. Very
Uh-huh.
coincidental connection,
Lars Quell.
I'm sure. Ugly
Yeah.
name. It's just like not a good deep cover name. I did not like it at all.
Not at all.
But speaking of the Queen, can we talk about how messed up it is when that Twi'lek slave tries to kill her and then fails and then kills
He commits
herself?
suicide.
It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. This show is dark
I
now.
don't know what happened. It's just like it
mean,
just has gone off the rails.
Suddenly.
There are
It's gone
definitely
off the rails.
moments of stuff like this that earlier in the show.
Right,
Like I
right.
remember I think it's on the Assault on Camino. Like Asajj, like impales a clone trooper and like kisses him. It's like
Oh
super
yeah,
messed
yeah.
Oh.
up. It's like,
Yeah,
what
you're
the
right.
heck?
Yeah, she
But
does.
it's like literally like that's the only moment that's like that in the whole episode. But you're like, whoa, where did
and
that
it
come
happens
from?
regularly now.
Yeah, now it's just happening all the time. Now we have just sex trafficking and suicide and slavery, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is not my Star
Chopping
Wars.
people
This
in
is not
half.
my Star Wars. Where's Luke Skywalker?
Oh, don't worry, we get
You
that
wouldn't do
later with
this.
the whole homage to Return of the Jedi.
Oh, I know. And I
Yes.
was at first was like, oh, and I was like, no, I like this one. It's like it's so perfect. The little salute and then the
Yeah.
musical flourish. I'm like, okay, you
It-
guys
And
got me.
I think they
I can't believe that got you.
I think they kind of earn it because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it fails.
I think
You know,
I agree that it's earned.
Right.
I'm surprised that Ben thinks it's earned. That's
No, I just liked it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's great, and we could think about like the reason that they do it in Return of the Jedi is because R2's tried
tried
this
it
before, but he thinks it'll work this
they're
time.
like planning it
I
out.
like that.
R2's like, hey, I got this.
I got this.
Don't worry, it worked perfectly last time. Flashback to last time, it did not work. Remember back on Zygerria?
Okay, the arena. Yeah, it's the arena announcer says Zyjerrians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're supposed to be saying.
I
Yeah,
think
I
we are
think
supposed to say
Zygerrians say Zygerrians and non-Zygerrians say Zygerians, and it's like, is that problematic? Maybe it is.
I think it is.
Yes, I think so. But
I wrote because this is I think the first instance. I wrote, did no one catch that? That'd be like someone saying human and trying to pass it off as legit because it's like this is our species.
Oh,
like
you mean like a
can't-
Ferengian Star Trek humans?
yeah,
These humans.
But see, again, that's like us saying Zygerrian because they are mispronouncing our species name.
Mhm.
But I'm learning now.
Yeah.
I was being offensive. I was being problematic. I was being cancelable whenever I said that.
Suddenly, the shoe's on the other foot, as it were.
And see, whenever they're talking, she's like announced, she's like Anakin has failed, and the Queen is addressing him and all of them, and she says every Jedi has become a slave to the Republic. You know, saying the name of the episode.
It's kind of fun. It's like they're not wrong. Like that part specifically.
What I wrote was, I
Yeah.
hate it when separatists accidentally make good points.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
They're literally
That's what
slavers,
happened.
and they're like, "But you Jedi are so arrogant, and you just serve the Republic for no reason." And we're like, You know, they're not wrong about that part of
No,
it.
you're right. Yep.
That doesn't make you right in every other way.
No, that's what I mean. And that's why I said accidentally make a good point. But who does Anakin force choke in this one?
Her?
I wrote.
Oof, the queen doesn't.
Oh yeah, and then she gets force choked again by Dooku. That's what it is. I was gonna say
Yeah.
I just watched her get force choked not 2 hours ago. But I watched this
Yeah.
episode yesterday. Yes, Anakin just goes. I mean, figuratively and literally right for the throat. Does not hold back. This is like
No.
how we've watched him interrogate Poggle the Lesser already, haven't we? Or is that later in the show?
Man, I don't know if that was
I don't
here,
remember
if that was
doing
already
that.
here or not.
I don't.
I'll see if I can
think we
find
have
out.
yet.
Because it's just again, he's just this.
I feel like Paul
He's
Goldwasser
a
doesn't show up that
little-
often, so it'll be
No, he
easy to
doesn't.
find.
No, it's unsettling. There are a lot of just unsettling things to see in Star Wars, I think, from these episodes,
Yeah.
and that is certainly one of them. Anakin just going straight for the Force choke, but then right after we get Ahsoka pulling that guy off the roof with the Force, he's like up there like
Yeah.
talking crap or whatever, and she just goes, whoop, and he falls off. I thought that was
Yeah. He doesn't die.
No.
I thought he was dead too, but we get to see that he didn't die.
nope, and then he proceeds to shock Ahsoka. So
Yeah.
less than ideal. I don't remember writing this, but apparently I wrote, I hate how hot the queen is. But all in all, aside from her, these are some ugly episodes. These 2 episodes have just been dirty and scummy, and just
Yeah.
a lot of
Nasty.
bad things have happened. And they don't get
For sure.
they don't get too much better going forward. And my last note is, if they are to live as slaves, you as you who will keep them that way. Which again is just like one of those kind of, it feels like the stakes are a little raised, or it's a little more of an interesting dilemma rather than like Dooku capturing Obi-Wan and being like, okay, Anakin, turn yourself in or I'm gonna kill him. Because it's just like, okay, you're not gonna kill him. Like, you won't. We know how this plays out. And I just feel like there's a little more to the whole slave thing, especially since Obi-Wan is, as we find out, is enslaved, and they have a way to keep a leash on him.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you find anything, Cole?
Yeah, so it has already happened. That happened in Brain Invaders
Oh.
back in season 2.
Oh.
And Paul Lesser does
Whoa,
not have
long time
another
ago.
appearance until The Jedi Who Knew Too Much in season 5. So,
Huh.
and it's only on a view screen. So Weird.
Fascinating.
I was right though; it was easy to find because he doesn't have many appearances.
He does not appear very much. Anything else about episode 12, Slaves of the Republic?
I
I don't think so.
don't think so either.
Okay. I don't have a ton of notes for episode 13, Escape from Kadavo.
Well,
I think-
Yeah.
I don't remember. It might happen at the very end of this of the 12, where the like slave, like what educator guy, like
Yeah.
when Obi-Wan shows up, he just like drops like 10 of the slaves
Oh,
to
yeah.
their deaths. Like he's like, it's like,
Yeah.
just to make my point, I can do this at any point with more of these. So behave. I don't remember if that's at the very end of that episode or at the very beginning of the next one, but it's messed up. It's
I
like,
think,
oh,
It
we all just died.
is-
and that's an interesting point that I think kind of ties into the Kenobi show in a way that's not
Uh-huh.
particularly, it's not particularly subtle, but we'll get there. Dakota, do you have a blurb?
Yes, I do. Escape from Kadavo. Anakin warns the Zyjerrian queen that she faces danger from Dooku, and Obi-Wan finds himself captured and taken to a slave camp to be killed.
I will say, I really like how the slave facility on Kadavo looks. I think it's also a really well designed and interesting looking building.
And then they
But
use it. Interesting
it
design to
reminded
cool
me-
effect when they rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the inside of that building reminded me so much of this hell dimension that's in episode 1 of season 3 of Buffy, and it is like a mine where people get old, and it looked just like that.
Really?
So I feel like it is almost close enough where I'm like, is that a reference? But like, it's too weird, too random. So
You're right. That is a very specific thing, but at the same time, they are mining.
yeah,
I don't know. Crazier things have happened.
I'm gonna have to look into it.
Dave Filoni is not, and George Lucas are both kind of actually known for referencing
Obscure
other
references.
other works. So I don't think it's entirely crazy.
I'll do a side by side.
My first note is that seeing Obi-Wan beg, incredibly unsettling. Very unsettling.
yeah.
It
I hate
is
it.
incredibly painful to watch. Because that's what I mean. They've got him on that
Very
leash. If they're gonna hurt innocent people, it's going
Yeah,
against
they
everything.
immediately zeroed in on his weakness. Like, hey, we're not going to punish you. We're going to punish them.
Right, and see, and my note is this episode is interesting considering the Kenobi show and how, quote, being a Jedi is like an itch. And I'm just like, is this going to get him in trouble
They
again?
cannot help it.
Yeah, this is going to get him in trouble again, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
And then they say Zyjerria, too, here I noticed.
They do.
My it's Zyjerria, WTF, and then indented bullet underneath in all caps. Why does George Lucas do this? But I understand now, it is we who are the problem, not George Lucas.
Well, no, he's done it in the episodes by making the good characters say it wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
He tricked us into
my
it.
initial thought was George Lucas getting it wrong because of the Han hand thing. Like, it'd be one thing if Lando said it wrong, but the fact that Leia also says it wrong, and it's just like, how it's not even like we're shooting in Tunisia and we don't have any money left. It's like, you just made Star Wars. Surely you have enough film to get her to say it right? Right?
The best take
like,
was just the wrong way of saying it,
Surely.
you know?
I don't know. That's something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. I want to know why that happened. Maybe I need to get my hands on the J.W. Rinsler making of The Empire Strikes Back and figure out what the heck was going on there.
Well, I think that it's just that everyone that's in love with him says his name that way. Like, it's a special.
Okay.
love
It's a special
pet name
Yeah, that's
kind
it.
of thing.
Fair enough.
Chewie says it too.
We
just
can't
don't
hear it.
understand
Yeah.
him.
And then Anakin saves the Queen from Dooku. I have a long stretch without notes because it's just Anakin and Dooku just
I
kind
do
of
too.
bantering with one another or whatever. But
I just kind of kept a tally of people's names in case I needed to say something about them, but there's not really.
One thing I didn't
wrote-
understand, Ahsoka being put in the cage like she was. I'm like, why couldn't she just use the Force to get out in some way? Because as soon as she's let out, she pulls the collar off with the Force easy.
yep.
I was
And
like, what? Was she just?
She could have done that inside there.
I'm so torn. I don't like to be this way, but so many things that happen in these episodes do lead me to think, why couldn't they just use the Force here? I don't like to think that way, and I frequently don't, but I
Yeah.
feel like this episode had a lot of things that it's like, especially
did.
once they
It
just get the
really
collars off. It's just like,
You could have
you
done
could have
that.
done that a long time ago. You could have avoided a lot of, and I understand it's because we want Anakin to have this slave arc. We want but I don't know. After Anakin saves the Queen, though, I'm just like, hey, if I didn't know any better, that might be character development. Because she's the leader of these slavers, and he saves her, and then I forget.
Yeah.
Right after she's when she's dying, he's like, "Where's Obi-Wan?" And I'm like, "Oh, I forgot he had an ulterior motive. He wasn't just."
He did.
Even if I didn't know he ended up as Darth Vader, he did have an ulterior motive in
He-
saving her one way or the other.
Yeah. He was probably going to actually kill her, though. He just didn't want to yet.
Right. I will say though, those Zyjerrian freighters, ugly as sin. I hate them.
Yeah, they
I
are.
hate them. They are
Not
so
good.
bad, and I think they've shown up in a couple other places, maybe in Bad Batch.
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely seen them before.
Yeah, and they're just not good looking. Do we see the Zygerrian? Excuse me, Zyjerrian. Do we see the Zyjerrian fighters show up anywhere else though? Because they looked familiar to me, like almost like they were reused assets. But I might just remember them because they kind of looked like this weird cross between like the desert skiff from Return of the Jedi and a cloud car. And I can't figure out if that's why they're distinctive. I know we have an entire wiki on which to look these things up, but I feel like it's more fun to ask you to see if you remember them showing up elsewhere.
No,
I don't, but I also like can't even picture them in my head. So
yeah, same.
But
So,
I am
I mean-
doing a cursory look.
Okay, while you do your look, we can talk about Plo Koon and how he's a total badass.
Yes,
And
he
then,
really is. The whole wolf pack is here.
yes, and then in another kind of dark, twisted turn of events, there's that clone trooper that gets shot through the windscreen of the gunship, of the
Yeah.
landing gunship. And again, I'm just like, kind of unnecessarily evil. Like, did it
Yeah.
have to go that way? Did we have to do him like that? I feel like we didn't. Just getting darker for no discernible reasons.
Yeah, just really are.
We do have another random random human admiral in the Republic Navy, though. I can't remember what they said his name was, but it's like
Oh yeah,
Coburn. And I
He's
just
voiced by D. Bradley
Admiral
Baker.
Coburn. Yeah.
I looked it up. I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, I wrote his name down specifically too because I was like, where'd this human guy come from?
I'm sure there's an explanation somewhere.
He's in some other episodes.
Is he really?
I looked. I don't. Yeah, we've seen him, and we're gonna see him again. So, and I don't remember him at all.
This is the fighter you're talking about, right, Ben? I just posted.
Uh,
I think I posted. There it is.
yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Okay. Yeah, this is its first appearance, but it does like continue to appear throughout the rest of the Clone Wars, basically.
Okay.
So
it's not necessarily just a Zygerrian fighter.
apparently, it has been identified as a Hutt fighter
Okay.
in the High
That makes
Republic
sense.
Adventures.
That's
What? Daniel, what are you doing?
Interesting.
what a guy.
Oh,
What a
okay.
man.
But the design is based on an original concept illustration for the Imperial shuttle for Return of the Jedi.
I would bet 10 to 1 that is what I'm thinking of. That is why it is familiar to me. I would bet money that is why. If there was a way to prove such a thing. But I don't know. This episode really actiony, a lot of stuff, just a lot of pew 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 pews. I do love
another example of extreme violence that I think we mentioned earlier is when Obi-Wan gets that one Zyjerrian that's like been making him work and stuff, and the guy's like, "You're not gonna kill me," and then
Rex.
"You're a Jedi," and then Rex pops in and says, "I'm no Jedi," and Obi-Wan just lets him murder him.
Just lets him do it
in front of
I'm
him
no Jedi.
and like smirks about
Oof,
it.
man.
I don't know.
I don't blame him.
Violent.
But,
I was gonna say
Exactly, but he's a
I
Jedi.
think these people are.
He's better than us.
You're right. But you know what? He's also human, and everyone has their limits. And I think maybe Obi-Wan seeing him kill like 20 Togruta right in front of him.
It was still shocking to me.
It was, but I don't know. That's a good point. Obi-Wan did just kind of let it happen. You think he could have at least done the like Anakin when Anakin kills the exactly, done something when Anakin kills the Mandalorian senator or whatever, the representative.
He says it dismissively, but he still at least says
Right.
it.
I don't
He
blame
could have
him,
shrugged
but,
instead of smirked.
we're supposed to be
Those
better
of
than
us-
that, but
Those of us that have read or caught up on the High Republic, I'm not going to say which of us are not, but we know who we are. I do
Hello.
think it is rather funny that this is at least 2 times now that the Togruta have said maybe we'll join the Republic, and they haven't done it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a species that like keeps doing
will
that. It
not.
keeps
And
doing.
one thing I wasn't clear on is like, is this the entire Togruta population, or is this just like one group of colonists?
I don't know. No.
At
Do they
one
not
point-
have a home
Yeah,
planet?
Ahsoka said. I think they do. Ahsoka called them colonists.
Yes, they are colonists,
specifically.
And they also just kept referring to them as my people.
right? Which
Yeah.
is does make sense.
Not incorrect, but seems strange.
Well, maybe she is from.
Maybe.
But she probably wouldn't know. Why would she know that she was from a colonist group? Though?
Their homeworld is Shili, Shili.
I don't think I knew that.
No, I definitely did. But if you'd it's one of those things where it's like I knew that, but if you'd asked me, I couldn't have told you. Anything else? Episode 13. I've got.
What? Yeah. Ahsoka has to jump out a window to catch a falling girl. Instead of just catching her with force, she has to like jump out and catch her in her arms. I just want to make sure everyone saw that.
A very straight thing to do. But whatever. Episode 14, a friend in need. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Indeed.
But yeah, I mentioned that I had some thoughts, some revelatory thoughts.
But first,
Personal revel. We do need a blurb. We do need a blurb.
Should we do the
but,
blurb?
I was getting there.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about episode that.
I was talking about 14
still or not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the blurb, and then you can say your thing. The son of a murdered separatist senator seeks justice for the murder of his mother and contacts Death Watch, sworn enemies of the Jedi.
That's funny because we definitely know who he is and who his mother is. It's funny they wouldn't name him in the blurb, but I guess I shouldn't be too shocked.
Off.
I said that at the beginning of this episode. I was like, oh, why is he here? And I remembered that I like him because of that book now, Inferno Squad. I like him a lot, and so that gave me conflicted feelings.
Well,
I like the voice actor for him.
Who is the voice actor?
Stuff.
Yeah,
It's Jason Spizak.
Okay. I don't know who that is. My first note is this episode is gonna have Lux in it. Next note, ugh, in all caps.
yeah.
But
also, some separatist senator in the meeting says, "Why is Lux Bonteri here?" when he walks in, and I was like, "This man speaks for all of us."
he is the viewer. He is the point of view character.
Didn't know he was going to be here.
It does kind of suck that does Satine even have a line in this episod?
Yeah,
She's like one.
I don't think so.
One, yeah, okay.
Does she?
Yeah, I think when everyone's like arguing and stuff, she's like kind of has like a come to order thing or something.
Okay.
Because I think her voice actress
Yeah,
is
that was
credited.
sad.
Okay.
We barely saw her.
We did.
She looked great, but
we saw my guy Jimmy Smits.
we also had to see a Astinity.
We did, and he talked like this.
It had the worst voice. And I think that it's because his lips were so small.
Did he have small
Did you
lips?
see how teeny his lips were?
I can't say I did see how teeny his lips were. I was too busy looking at Jimmy Smits. I don't know why I love him so much.
Were very teeny.
He's in
because he's wonderful.
he's in he's in How to Get Away with Murder. I liked him there. And he's in Dexter. He's in season 2 of Dexter. He's a major recurring character. And I'm just like, every time I see him, I'm like, that's my guy. And it's really just because he played Bail Organa. That's the only reason I even know who this guy is. But anyway, I do like him. He just seems like a very friendly man. But yeah, Bail Organa's there. This is all to say, Bail Organa is there.
He doesn't have any lines, does he?
No, I don't think he does.
No, he didn't. But he does in the newest Padme book, which is an absolute delight. He's in it a lot.
Because
so
he's in
highly recommend.
He's in Queen's Peril too, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's where they kind of form their girl gang with the two of them and Mon Mothma.
Right. I'm glad someone's telling that story since George Lucas was too cowardly to have a 3-hour movie, you know, with that story. But
it's so good. Just politics all the way through.
it's just like, George, you already made the Phantom Menace. You might as well just finish it up. Like, but
If only.
anyway, when they're taking,
But now we have it in these novels.
we do.
So.
It is there. When they were taking Lux out to the Trade Federation landing ship, I didn't actually get a chance to look into this because, as I said, we started recording basically right as soon as I finished this episode. I felt like the landing ship was too big. I felt like its scale was off. But I don't know if either of you would necessarily notice that.
I was
I
watching
would
it on my
never notice
phone.
that.
You know, I wasn't really paying that much
impossible
attention
to
to
tell.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to look into that
Sorry.
for me personally. But the commando droids that are supposed to kill Lux are unarmed. Did you notice that? Like they're both,
They were gonna punch
yeah,
him.
they were
gonna beat him
unarmed.
up.
Just like, what the heck?
Yeah,
Why?
I did see that because I believe that it is because they were gonna just beat him up.
I mean, they could literally
So that-
stab their
they were gonna
fist
step
through
on
to
him.
his chest. I mean, it wouldn't be that.
Yeah,
hard.
I think that's
They're gonna step on him until he's dead.
just gonna make a point and just shoot. You know, like whenever IG-88 throws that droid arm through the one scientist and it pulls his heart out.
Yes.
yeah.
Just like that.
That's the
I'm
one.
sure Clone Wars would be totally
That's
up
the
for
one.
doing that.
After these episodes, I
I mean,
couldn't say no.
Rex throws that spear through that one guy.
And then,
Yeah.
well, a little later in this episode, Pre Vizsla just kills that girl.
When Ahsoka
Kills
beheads,
all kinds of people.
so Ahsoka like beheads 4 Mandalorians
Yes.
in one move.
Yeah.
And you kind of
was
see
sick.
their. It's like a Dooku Revenge of the Sith beheading, but like you still
Yeah.
kind of see their heads fall off, like their heads
Mhm.
You
leave
do.
their body.
Yeah.
There's a shot too
And
in the
yeah.
previous episode where I can't remember. I think it must be Anakin. Maybe it's Obi-Wan. Kills a Zyjerrian, and it's like a close up on his face, and he goes, you know, and it's just like
Yeah.
very again, just he's dead. Make no mistake,
gruesome.
he is dead.
Oh, I do remember there was one that got like thrown off a balcony, a Zygerrian, and he like hits a like a balcony or something, and then hits the ground, and they show him deliberately not dead. It was like
Yeah.
the one guy
Yeah.
you don't kill.
He landed in like some fruit or
It's
something.
like he fell for so far, and he just
God.
doesn't die.
I thought he was dead for sure,
So weird.
just because everyone else is.
Anyway, back to 14, and
Yeah.
something I don't like. Right after Ahsoka saves Lux from the droids, they zoom in on the hand grab, and
Yeah.
the nausea that I've been fighting for the last
It overcame
2 or
me.
3 days came to a head. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. Don't do this.
It's so bad.
Don't do this. But this is my first revelatory thought. At least
Okay.
Lux Bonteri is infinitely less horrible than Rush Clovis. Given
Oh,
given
for
the
sure.
choice,
No
given the choice,
contrast.
Inferno Squad novel notwithstanding, if we are dealing with just Clone Wars, I am taking Lux Bonteri every single day
Yeah.
over Rush Clovis.
And
I
think
hate
Lux
Clovis.
gets better. Like he's not as bad in this episode. Like
No,
he makes a
he's-
stupid decision at the
he's
beginning,
really
but he
not.
realizes his mistake, and you know,
Right. He does get better, and Clovis is
He
horrible
grows.
every time we see him.
Yeah.
But you know, and then we get Death Watch, we get Bo-Katan, and I just
It's
told
the
I
first
was like,
appearance of Bo-Katan.
is it really?
Yep.
This is literally the first appearance.
That's
looked
so
it up.
funny because
The
I
ass slap heard round Mandalore.
not there yet. I do want to say that we see them, they appear, and Lucasfilm will never be able to make me not be excited to see Death Watch, to see Mandalorian. You know, it's just like, I don't care if they're the villains.
Yeah.
I don't care what they're doing. Like, I see them at the end, they're burning this whole village to the ground. I'm like,
Yeah.
they must have a good reason. There must be a reason.
Okay,
They
no.
wouldn't just do that.
They're
right?
literally just doing it
That's
because
right.
they can. And Ben's like, yeah, they're not that bad, right?
I was with you until the end. Like when they first came on
He
in
had
the
me in the
episode, I was like,
beginning.
yes, Death Watch. And then they start doing all that awful, like, Bo-Katan slaps Ahsoka's ass, and I'm like, oh no, these are the bad. It's still the bad Death Watch.
And that was another thing too that I was
Jon Favreau
really.
just eating it up.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
He's really good. That's Pre
He
Vizsla.
is.
I absolutely cannot believe they let Bo-Katan spank Ahsoka. I
I can't either.
cannot believe it. It's
How did that
just one of those things that,
happen?
again, it's just, it's not like, because objectively, even if it was in like I don't know, in a PG-13 movie, that's like a tame joke, right? That's nothing. But in the context of this show that is like aimed at children, it just feels very like, it's one of those things someone could get in trouble by imitating, like, especially when she's like seems kind of skinny, doesn't she? And then Lux is like, she gets the job done. I'm like, what does that mean? You weirdo.
Ah.
Well, I think
so
the whole point
bad.
that she was trying to make is like, hey, Mandalorian, like, they're all about, being tough and everything. It's like, this looks like skin and
Right.
bones.
Exactly.
Not really a worthy mate.
No, I don't know.
It's wild times.
I said, good luck making me not excited to see them, you fools. talking about Death Watch. No, Bo-Katan's armor is still sick too. I love her helmet.
Yeah, I was reading the behind the scenes on this because I was like, I looked it up. I was like, oh, this is the first appearance. That's interesting because she has like nothing to do in this episode, basically.
No,
she's like just
except for that ass.
Yeah, beyond that.
That's why she was there.
She's
the only
just
reason.
there just to be like a kind of more interesting looking side character, I guess. But apparently Filoni, she wasn't in this script originally, and Filoni added her into it because he had plans further down the line. And that's why they cast Katie Sackhoff and everything. It wasn't just a one-off. Because it's like, man, you got Katie Sackhoff and everything for this one like tiny appearance. But no, there were plans apparently. So I give him props for that.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's like, hey, introduce her here,
good.
and we'll do more with her.
Yeah.
And who knew how far that would go?
Yeah, really.
Before they died, Eva said that they wanted us to tell everyone that Ahsoka and Bo are girlfriends.
Yeah. Again, very, like I said, about jumping out the window and catching that girl in her arms. Very straight thing to do. Anyway.
So, just needed to say
it is canon, but the planet they're on, Karlak, sounded familiar to me. It does not actually appear like really much outside of Clone Wars. I guess it was familiar to me because it's in Tempest Runner in flashbacks.
Oh, what?
But it definitely it could very easily just be like Karak, the planet in Homeworld. Like, it could just be a confluence of things in my brain and making it sound familiar. But it sounded familiar to me, and Tempest Runner didn't seem like the right place, but I guess. I guess they do say the name of the planet in the show, too, so. But it's about that point, the point that I was writing this down, that to shut Ahsoka up, Lux Monteri just kisses her. And it's just the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's bad.
It's a tired trope. It's bad because I just hate the idea of Lux and Ahsoka together. Like, it's just, there's nothing redeeming about it.
It's unsettling to see, honestly.
That's the whole vibe of these episodes, is unsettling.
Yeah.
But my next, I don't know, I must have blacked out, and then I woke up to Pre Vizsla just murdering that girl, just right through her.
That's
basically
like, the next thing.
He promises the village leaders, like, oh yeah, we'll leave in the morning. No, it's chill, it's cool. And he's like, here you go.
Oh, thank you.
Messed up.
Yeah.
And then I love Lux is like, wait, what are you doing? This is so dishonorable. He's like, never let weak people tell you what to do. Like, wow.
He's the worst.
Good. It's so good, though.
Yeah, we just see them all being really misogynistic at a party, and then that happens.
The way they're treating the droids, just like shooting the droids, it's all really messed up.
That was such a weird subplot too. The droids.
Yeah, the creepy zombie droids reminded
Fix
me of
us.
Sid's toys in
Yeah.
Toy Story.
Fix us.
Like,
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I just assumed I'm glad that you all agree with me and that these episodes are pretty gnarly. I was afraid I was just in Rebels mode for too long because I've been rewatching
No,
Rebels, and it's like that show it's so incredibly tame compared to what we've watched for
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, they kind of flipped that switch at the end of season 4 too, though. Like up until then, we don't really see anyone cut anyone in half with lightsabers. But then they
season 4 is like, there's no more seasons, we can't be canceled.
I vaguely,
and they start.
I vaguely remember talking to Dakota when we were watching the finale, airing, and being like, "Did you just kill someone with a lightsaber?" Like, I remember, remember thinking that being a point of contention. Like, oh my god, they can't do that in Rebels
on Disney XD.
They did it.
Another point that something else I thought about from this episode. I feel like Mandalorians make even less convincing bad guys now that the Mandalorian is out, and that like the Mandalorian is like, you know, people think of him as like the best Star Wars dad. You know, so it's like
and then we have these fellows.
They're especially, you know, there are people who watch the Mandalorian and are just like, oh, Bo-Katan, who's that? Oh, I'm gonna watch her first appearance. It's like, wait, Death Watch? No, these are the good guys.
She's bad.
These are the good guys. You know, like, So I don't know. That's I do not envy those people in that culture shock.
Whoa, confusing. Please stop this, please. But I had a thought though when they were torching this village and everything. I was like, it's definitely not the same village, but something like really similar to this is probably where Din came from.
Oh,
like Death Watch taking him from a village that was under attack by separatists.
Oh.
Like, I had the thought, I was like, is this the same village? I was like, no, probably not.
It's not the same village.
It's something really similar.
For sure. For sure.
Because
there were kids
doing
there.
Clone Wars.
Especially since Ahsoka and Lux just basically, like, left. They weren't able to really, like, stop Death Watch there.
Yeah.
No.
So, you know that, like, any kids that were left were like, okay, you're Mandalorians now. Like, this is the way.
Because we are dads.
We are dads. We are a culture of dads.
That's wild.
That is, you know, Cold War reading Republic Commando? That is, it's so funny how that has remained the through line ever since the Mandalorians have been turned into an actual culture. They are a culture of dads.
Dads, whether you want them to be or not.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought the village was being attacked. I was like, man, this could be it. I don't know. It was a weird thought.
No, I mean, and it's weird in a figurative sort of way. It could be it, but you know, Lux runs off. Ahsoka's confused, but Lux is like, I got to start the rebellion. I'm sorry. I thought they had. This is another revelatory thought for me. I felt like they had kind of a nice moment there at the end. I just felt like it was incredibly unearned because Ahsoka seemed to show no. I would not have nearly as much distaste for Lux Monteri as much distaste for Lux Monteri as I do if it felt like Ahsoka felt something for him too, like right out the gate, because then we could have this interesting like Ahsoka basically feeling what Anakin felt, but then kind of taking the Obi-Wan route and being like, no, I'm a Jedi. I'm not going to give into this. But it just, like I said, it feels unearned because she doesn't really show him the time of day up until the time they get on the ship. She basically doesn't want anything to do with him, like romantically, you know. It just, I don't know. It felt.
I don't know if I agree. I think there is something there, honestly.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
Like, I don't know if I love it or anything, but I don't think it's completely not there. You know, I don't have strong feelings on Lux either way.
I feel like I think the same thing as Ben because the last part, to me it feels like Lux is finally like, okay, this is not a romantic moment. This is meaningful in a different way, kind of feeling with her, which is kind of what we think that she has felt for him too.
Mhm.
Like not romantically, but just like admiration / annoyance.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely like I definitely felt something in that last scene, and I'm just like, the whole thing could have been better. But maybe Cole's right. Maybe I'm just anti-Lux enough that I don't see it when I'm watching it because I don't want it to be there, and it's hard to deny it here at the end when Ahsoka doesn't want him to go.
Mhm.
So.
And I'm not a
One way or the
shipping
other.
guy, so for
I
me,
never
it
would've
has to be
guessed.
pretty plain for me to even be like to care. I'm not reading into it because I don't do that.
That's funny. I've never really been one to do that either. Where it's like, if it's Dakota, I am again not shocked. If it's canon, I can absolutely get into it. Allison always jokes that I love TV romance because I love Jim and Pam from The Office, and it's just like I do love Jim and Pam so much. But yeah, it's just like if two characters are like, I would not say I ship Obi-Wan and Asajj. But I know a lot of people do. I like their interactions together, but it's like I don't think about it beyond that. But not saying there's anything wrong with it if you do. It's just I'm Cole. I'm closer to you than I am to Dakota, is what I'm saying. I do think about it sometimes, but not a lot. Dang, this is a long episode. I feel like these Clone Wars episodes have just been getting longer and longer. I'm glad the energy picked up a little
Well,
bit too.
there's
Once we
more
got
in
into
there, to talk about because they've gotten
There
better
is a lot.
generally.
Yeah,
They're not all Bombad Jedi anymore. We have something to talk about.
exactly. One other thing from this episode I wanted to point out is that Ahsoka says to someone, I forget who, "Careful not to choke on your stupidity."
She says it to Lux, I think.
To Lux, whenever she's
Yeah.
feeding them.
Okay.
Yep.
She just that.
It's a good line.
It's close.
It
line.
is
Careful not to
close.
choke on your aspirations, director.
It is close.
Yep.
It is close to that, and I feel like these episodes actually had a lot of like movie line nods, and I feel like Clone Wars as a whole has a lot more of those than I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like literally a clone pilot says, "Whoa, that got him" at one point, and I'm like,
Oh, that's something I forgot to mention is that we had Plo Koon and the Wolf Pack come in to help at the end of the last episodes, and that the whole rescue sequence was pretty cool with this destroyer coming underneath.
oh yeah, for
It
sure.
was all really
that was
sick.
cool.
And you had Warthog as the pilot.
Right.
I was like, I don't remember this guy. Is he in anything else?
And we had Plo Koon's awesome maneuver. R7, kill the engines. And he takes those guys out. Yeah. I love it.
He's still got the good Starfighter.
It was good.
He does. He does, because he's a man of taste.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, do we have anything else that we want to say about these episodes of Clone Wars? Pretty good, all in all. I enjoyed myself watching them.
I enjoyed them a
Thoroughly.
lot.
I'm glad we're finally at the point. I'm glad we're finally at the point where it's not like, well, two of them were really good. I guess we're never fully out of that, are we? But it feels like we've had a good stretch.
Not never fully,
recently.
but I think there's definitely like bigger gaps between that now.
But yeah, between the less good ones.
Like we just had 8 episodes in a row that were pretty solid.
Exactly.
2 full arcs, and we've got another one coming up with the Clone Obi-Wan undercover thing.
Despite his appearance, it's a really good arc for sure.
It has
this last episode would have been the bad one before. It's just a standalone with Lux, and it's kind of more like politics stuff. That's normally this is the one you have to trudge
really
through.
good.
It's totally solid.
Yep, for sure. They're doing so good now. It's such a good show.
And we do have the droid arc coming up next season. Is it next season or this season? And that's 4 in a row of
I want to skip it.
I think it's
I'm on record as wanting to skip it, but
we can't skip it.
We're not
skipping
skipping it, Ben. That's a horrific.
I know how you feel. I kind of agree, but I feel like
it is some of. God, this is the
at least
episode.
we get Gregor out of that.
We do, but it is some of the worst Star Wars there is, and I say this as someone who just read The Glove of Darth Vader. Like, it's like it is.
I just read it. Oh yeah, we all just read it.
It's really.
We
not
made you
good.
read it.
Yeah, it was great. I was very fun.
Gotcha.
Did you laugh? Did you laugh with us through the episode of Emperor Skywalkers?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
Greetings.
I was dying once we got late into that episode. Just none of it made any sense. But if we're done, Cole, tell people where they can find you on the internet. While I let my cat out of my bedroom, and then Dakota, you go if Cole finishes. Let me cue it up. Actually, Dakota, tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Oh,
I'm just no, you can talk. You can sneeze. You can
Sorry.
sneeze. I'm just queuing it up.
Yeah,
So it's
so-
ready whenever.
Yeah. So you can find me at Mando Wraith on all different social media platforms, and on Abra Skywalkers, where we did read the Glove of Darth Vader, and we are currently reading Republic Commando True Colors for more Mandalorian goodness. And that's about it. So Dakota.
Okay, I am on Instagram at Deviation of the Endless and Twitter at Endless Deviation with 1S. I also have a podcast for my work called Random Lines, which I am mentioning because next month I'm going to have a talk with my coworker Tia about Star Wars books on that podcast. So it might actually be interesting. I am a little bit scared of some of Tia's opinions, potential opinions, but hopefully it all turns out
That's
great.
the worst. That's the worst. Just makes you want to take away some people's right to talk about Star Wars. There, I said it. I was gonna cancel it, but I said it.
Wow.
I said it. And you know what? You know what?
This podcast sucks.
I'm including myself. Someone
I know you are.
please take away my license to do it. I think the world would be a much better place if I couldn't talk about how I feel about Star Wars anymore. This podcast is on Twitter, SW Skyhoppers. You can email us, skyhopperspodcast@gmail.com. You can go to skyhopperspodcast.com to find everything that we've been doing. I don't remember if we've recorded since. I don't think we have. I posted my review of Mandalorian Armor a few weeks ago. Eva posted their review of... It's longer than 100 words, but they're 100 words or less on Rebel Dawn. They make some good points, though, and I actually agree with everything they say. So I think you should go check that out. It is still pretty short. Don't worry. It's not a long... It doesn't mean it's a long review.
I added the Mandalorian armor and the Glove of Darth Vader to my ever-growing document.
I have looked at it, Dakota. I have looked, and I am still struggling. I have a few ideas.
Great.
But we're gonna get it figured out, and Dakota will also be a regular contributor to skyhopperspodcast.com. Just know that
Yes.
Dakota wants to be contributing, and I am holding him back. That's what I want to make known. If you want to be a Skyhoppers contributor, you can go to patreon.com/skyhopperspodcast. Those $1 a month. Get access to the after hours. You get access to video after hours, where Dakota opens packages from other patrons, and on occasion we all open packages from patrons. You get to hang out in the Discord. There's always good stuff happening over there. If nothing else, Cole seems to have... Please stop squeaking the car while I'm trying to do the outro. Cole always seems to have news sources that no one else does. So even before I see stuff on Twitter, Cole is posting the big news that's breaking.
That's where I get my news.
It's from Cole. Right. I thought about adding a Star Wars news bot or something, but just don't need to.
I don't. Yeah.
Cole
I don't
is
need
the
one.
Star Wars news bot. I apologize for all the coughing. My
Star
God.
Wars Leaks is
Hopefully
very
next
good
week's
about
better.
getting the news
all my
really
sneezing.
quickly.
Oh, I bet. They're free. That's a nice subreddit. They're free because they just don't care about being spoiled.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I am tactful about sharing stuff.
You are. You're the filter. So it's even better than a bot. You are filtered. But yeah. And I'm afraid I'm on cough again. So I'm going to say that nobody has anything else to add. And this is the Skyhoppers Podcast. Signing off.
Walking carpet out here, man.
Droopy.
A most imperial welcome to you.
Dark dreams.